we should get to some serious stuff, some technical stuff, because Formula One is a technical sport. We've had Craig Scarborough taking us deeper down into what each team needs to do to succeed in 2025. But even Craig wouldn't have possibly guessed this new technical directive that the FIA has forced upon us at the Chinese Grand Prix. Okay, now here's some funny takes. Firstly, at the Chinese Grand Prix, they want wings to be more sturdy, more stringent. In Melbourne, they actually used a lot of camera footage to assess the flexing of wings, especially the upper rear wing. And the rear wing basically has what's called a slot gap, and that the gap when the DRS wing is closed is what they are assessing. Okay, how are they going to assess that is interesting, but I'll get to some numbers, right? But the most important thing to clarify for everyone who could troll the teams on this subject is all cars after the race in Melbourne were confirmed to conform to the Formula One regulations. So none of the cars ran illegally. Okay. Now, what are the changes that they're going to make? So, firstly, and I'm going to read this because I tweeted this and I was pretty proud. There is a gap in that slot gap, okay, which is 2 millimeters long. Okay, that gap is now going to be reduced to 0.5 of a millimeter. So 25% of what it originally was. Everyone in the paddock thinks it's a very, very harsh and a stringent move that's happened literally after the first race of the season. There is a variation allowed of 0.25 millimeters. So a 50% variation of the new limit is allowed. And that allowance is because the directive has come one day or less than 24 hours after the first race in Melbourne. So they're giving the teams a bit of a leeway. And you can ask, how is it that they're measuring this? So there is a 75 kilogram of vertical load that is applied on the extremities of the rear wing main plane. And the distance between the main plane and the flap, that's what we're looking at, like I said, as the slot gap. So anyway, now that I've put all the technical stuff there, Somil, the key thing is, will this change the pecking order?
So let my non-engineering brain understand. Basically, the wing has a small gap between itself and the upper portion of it, the portion that has the DRS or the top part of the wing, let's put it that way. And that's currently 0.2 millimeters. That's currently what, 25 millimeters? You said what's the number?
2 millimeters.
2 millimeters. Wow. Okay. And they want it to become 0.5 millimeters, which means that if they bring it closer, it'll be more structurally a part of the wing, and hence it'll flex less. Correct?
That's correct. Yes.
What's the issue with flexing? Like, just to put it out there.
Well, when there are wings, there will be flexing. That's just how cars are designed. Wings are designed because when you drive these cars, there's load on the wings, and it's just structural for every surface or every material to flex. In fact, flexing within the regulations is what teams consciously try and do, because flexing at the right speeds means you're letting go of drag, which is crucial to get those speeds. So typically what happens is, when you're on the main straight, actually you don't need the front and the rear wings. I mean, I'm not being literal, but what I mean is for performance, right? You need the wings for cornering. So can you achieve flexing in a way that you reduce drag or you drop drag on the main straight? And then when the car slows down, the wings sort of move back, flex back into action, which gives you the front end or the rear end or both of the grip levels that you need to make an efficient corner, right? Or to corner efficiently. So that's why flexing has always been around. Red Bull Racing used to be the masters of flexing in the 2010s. I remember that. And flexing all the muscles and the wings. And, now it's going to be down to watching which team actually will be affected by this the most. There will clearly be a change in the pecking order or an impact in the pecking order. And largely, I think this is a political game, Somil. Red Bull are not happy that the other teams are giving wings to their drivers that can flex, while the team that has Red Bull as the main owner, and Red Bull is known for giving wings, right? So gives you wings, which means if you're a Red Bull driver, you don't get flexi wings. And that's what they're trying to sort of get at. They're trying to
Um,
reduce the mini DRS effect. And the suspects are McLaren and Ferrari after the preseason testing. That's what they are after. Can you imagine Ferrari going actually slower because of this?
it'll be weird. But you know what I find interesting? I remember Turkey 2020, and we had so many videos after that race weekend of people analyzing Sergio Perez's rear wing. Like I remember, because it was flexing. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like, rear wings are meant to flex. But then when you watch the footage, you do realize that it is something quite extreme. And my understanding of it is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kunal, the FIA wants to clamp down on this because it is structurally a hazard. If the wings flex too much, they could fall off. They could, I don't know, drop down. And that's not what the FIA wants, right? They want a structurally intact Formula One car with components that are designed to be in place. There is some limit to which you're allowed to do it, but then they don't want the whole car to be a gigantic piece of flex. Like if every wing could flex to unlimited degrees, maybe the Formula One car wouldn't be structurally integral. Is what the whole idea behind this is. So maybe that's why they're clamping it all down.
So one of the reasons why they're clamping it down is actually partially what you said. They want things to conform to the regulations, right? And there are variations, there are degrees of accepted variations that they are happy to play with because there are, laws of physics and at play. But truth be told, Sawmill, this is also seen as one of those loopholes in the regulation. Okay, we saw that in Baku last year with Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc having a go at each other, and how Leclerc, even when the DRS flap was shut, was still almost having a DRS-ish effect on his car, right? Which is why even Leclerc with DRS on was struggling to catch Oscar Piastri, as everyone would remember that beautiful race that we also saw both the drivers sort of rallying while exiting the final corner before getting onto the main straight. But yeah, so that's what's going to happen this weekend, and let's see if it bunches the field up even further and where that impact goes.